Now, I'm not Chinese, but I'm pretty sure this isn't either.
So what determines if something is Chinese or not? Is it the text on the jacket, or is it where the jacket has been produced? Probably the USA. Does having a item or a reflection of clothing not produced in its country somehow make it less of what that thing's supposed to represent? MTV Decoded. Yeah. Do you remember when MTV used to be relevant and they used to make things on music and music only? Now they have a YouTube channel. Now they talk about social justice issues. Now they're telling you what is right, what is wrong, what is racist, and what isn't.
Every Halloween, someone ends up rocking a racially insensitive costume. But the stupidity is not just reserved for adults. They've even got these costumes for kids.
I find it a bit ironic that you say stupidity for adults because the rest of this video clearly demonstrates that on every single level.
I'm pretty sure when Donald Trump imagines children from Mexico, he's just picturing this with a mustache and everything.
They were just like, oh, it doesn't look Mexican enough. Cut it up. Make it look ragged. Then it will look Mexican.
So hold on a moment. Simply having raggedy clothes or clothes that have been worn a lot that have like strips or rips in them. I know I wear my same hoodie a lot all the time, and the sleeves have like tears in them. It doesn't look very professional, but it's my favorite hoodie. Does that raggedy rags somehow imply that I'm trying to dress Mexican? Not only that, is not all Mexican people dress with ripped clothes and raggedy rags, so that's kind of generalizing all Mexican people, don't you think?
What's a China boy? Aren't they Chinese?
Oh my God.
People haven't dressed like this in hundreds of years, and specifically like this, never.
The closest that this costume designer has come to China is P.F. Chang's.
But it's made in China. That's good.
Actually, historically, they have. It may have been a long time ago in China or Japan where they wear certain clothing that they no longer wear it now. But if someone wants to represent that culture and a historic time or a certain culture by wearing their type of dress in a particular historic time, 100 years ago, 150 years ago, why should they not be allowed to do that if they love that culture and love that history of that culture?
So you gave him a white towel, aluminum foil crown, your wife's lingerie, and a fake sword, and were like, yep, that's an Arab.
No way does this kid know what a sultan is. Most of you watching this probably don't know what a sultan is.
This is more like a unisex Power Ranger getup.
I hope you do realize that in Arabic culture, there are a lot of different types of clothing that they wear. There are also a lot of different types of headbands. And yes, I do know what a sultan is. And I'd like to mention that this is the third little white boy that they've shown wearing these costumes. Which is ironic to me because all the rest of the kids you're going to see in here are all white. So that leaves me with a question to ask you guys. What about the kids who are different skin color? Does someone with darker skin, are they still not allowed to dress certain costumes because it is culturally insensitive? Because somehow reflecting and wearing that costume from a culture that you may like and love, doesn't matter the color of your skin, are they not allowed to wear that either because they're not from that culture?
Have you read Memoirs of a Geisha? Did you see the award-winning film? Do you know what she does with her fingers in that movie?
This is not a kimono.
There's a little too much cleavage for a toddler.
There's a lot of great things going for geishas. They know how to dance, they know how to play instruments. If you pay them enough money, they'll do all those things for you and like potentially have sex with you.
Are you really implying that all geishas are somehow prostitutes? Because if so, that's very inaccurate. Sure, they're designed for male entertainment, but you shouldn't take a film and say this is the accurate portrayal of this entire culture of women. And especially what they do.
Any parent that dresses their kid in this is also on the side being like, go like this. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Newsflash, I'm an Indian girl. You're looking at one.
What is wrong with doing that? There's nothing. You're an Indian girl? So what? What is that? Why should I give a shit if you are an Indian girl? Why is someone doing playing cowboys and Indians? Why is that such a bad thing? Why is taking a child's imagination or his desire to be a cowboy or his desire to be an Indian and then play cowboys and Indians with his other small little kids? What's wrong with a white boy pretending to be an Indian? God, when I was young, when I was 4 or 5 years old, I pretended to be cowboys and Indians all the time. My parents are somehow bad and racist for allowing me to dress up as an Indian. The problem here is that you don't even make an argument for why this is actually wrong. You just say, well, it's culturally insensitive and we're gonna get offended by it. Actually, that's most of this video.
This is essentially a big brown sack they sewed some plastic fringe on to represent an entire group of indigenous people.
Smallpox blankets sold separately, of course.
The bad news is there's a baby harem costume. The good news is it's sold out, so you can't put your kid through this.
This is sold out? Google harem. Then Google concubine. And if you still want to dress up your kid like this, then Google Child Protective Services.
In other words, if your child does not dress the way that I think you should dress your child, I'm gonna call Child Protective Services. How is that supposed to be funny? How is that even supposed to be serious? Who are you to tell parents what they can and cannot let their children dress up as, especially considering that they are a child? I guarantee you that when I was 4 years old, dressing up and playing cowboys and Indians, I wasn't thinking, oh, Indians have dark skin. I guess I can't be an Indian then, right? Because, well, they have dark skin and
Coming in Halloween of 2015, all your kids are ethnic prostitutes.
Gypsy is a derogatory term. They're called Romani.
I'm getting a vision. Anyone who buys this costume for their kid is an asshole.
When I have kids and when my kid wants to dress up as an Indian, your opinion of me being an asshole because I let my child have an imagination, and if he loves that culture and loves Indians and loves cowboys, he loves China, loves Japan, whatever it be, I'm gonna let him explore his imagination, and of course not have dumb cunts like you attempt to try to guilt trip us and make us out to be something that we're really not, much less the children. Because let's think about the children first.
It's like a snow globe for beating hookers.
How do you explain to a kid what a pimp is? Well, son, let me tell you what a pimp is. You see your mom over there? Bitch, come over here.
Dreadlocks do not equal Rastafarian.
My hair is not a costume. It's not something I just throw on to look cute. I mean, even though I do look cute. That's not the purpose of it.
You know, that's something that I've really never understood. Why is it somehow not okay for someone to have a certain hairstyle because somehow wearing that particular hairstyle is racist or culturally insensitive to other people of different skin colors? Like, what? I have never been able to understand it. I've never even heard how this argument makes sense. Like, what if you are a black woman and you want to dress up as, let's just say, a female blonde or something? If you get a blonde wig and put it over your head, is that somehow degrading to that of blonde women? Your hair is your hair, and if someone wants to wear, and it's part of your body, by the way, and if anyone wants to do something to their own body, wear their body the way they see fit, with how many piercings or different color hairstyles, pin their hair in any way and fashion they want to, they have the right to do that because it is their body. It is not your position, Francesca, Franny, I'm just gonna call you Franny for the rest of this video. It's not your position, Franny, to say who can and cannot wear hairstyles. Quite frankly, it's disgusting when I run into people like you, who honestly think you have the authority to tell what people can and cannot wear on their own head, much less the styles of their hair. That's crazy. I'm starting to wonder who the real racist is here. Is it this young children and parents, or is it the people in this video?
200 years ago, I would have been shot for wearing this.
Wow.
It makes me sad on a deep level.
Finally, a costume where white people are dressing like their own race and somehow it's more offensive.
If you buy this costume for your kid, I hope that you get into a car accident and have to be saved by black paramedics.
Congratulations, MTV. You have successfully succeeded in being the most disgusting, cuntish nuggets I think I've come across on YouTube in terms of wishing harm upon a parent, wishing harm upon a child because of his Halloween costume. How can you even wish that, and even if it's a joke, how can you wish someone to actually get in a car accident? And I'm pretty sure if a person of darker skin rescued someone from a car accident, They do it no matter what costume they were wearing, because that is their job, is to rescue and help people. Like somehow they wouldn't do that because they're pulling their child. They got in a big car accident, right? The father and mother just got killed in the car accident, and the paramedics are pulling out the child, and the child's wearing a Indian costume. What do you think a paramedic's gonna like push him back in the car and say, no, I can't rescue, and let him die? All because he was wearing a culturally insensitive costume? Like, do you actually understand your logic here and how flawed it really is? And wishing harm upon a child and parent?
So what are some of the best and worst costumes that you've seen? Tell us in the comments, and we'll see you next week here on Decoded.
I think the best part of this video is the comment section, and in most cases I think YouTube comment sections are cancer, but in this particular case, the minority spoke out and destroyed this video for what it is. So these are some of the comments left on the video, because as of right now this video has well over 5,000 dislikes, a lot more dislikes than likes, and the comment section is riddled with people destroying this preposterous video for what it really is. Hi, from Chile. As a half Latino, half Arab, I find it fascinating when American minorities claim to be protecting cultures they've never lived in. Just because you are a hypersensitive ethnic minority in America doesn't give you the right to speak for an entire nations. Your skin color doesn't make you an official ambassador of our feelings. And by the way, people use the exact same costumes during Halloween in Latin America and other places who I've actually lived, like Korea and Japan. Wherever you live, thanks for assuming all we brown people are so emotionally feeble that we need your protection. But no thanks, grow up. I'm Asian and you people do not have any reason to be offended on my behalf. Those Chinese costumes or kung fu costumes or geisha outfits or samurai or ninja, whatever the hell they are not racist. They're just costumes. Who the hell hired such illogical morons like you? How did you guys ever survive your current age without drowning in your own bowl of cereal? Come on, I'm Brazilian, but if American uses a Carmen Miranda Tutti Frutti hat as a Brazilian costume in their Halloween, should I feel offended? What the fuck? Here we have our carnival of everyone who uses costumes to play characters whatever she wants. Chinese, Aztec, Japanese, Indian, Jews, and Arabs. And we've never had any issue like this. The situation is a disgrace. I'm sorry for you Americans, but because you can't celebrate Halloween anymore thanks to your stupid PC agenda, your culture is imploding because of these oversensitive, spoiled brats that can't be triggered. There are a lot of real racism in the world, and there's real racists that must be addressed. But this MTV issue is entirely ridiculous. Professional victims at their best, grow up and get a job, people. Those are just a few, but I wanted to showcase them because this video, literally in this comment section, has been destroyed by people of different cultures, and I'm give respect to those people speaking out against this video. And of course, before we end, I'd like to recommend a audiobook known as Rules for a Night by Ethan Hawke. The actor actually wrote this book with his wife. And let me tell you something, this book is phenomenal. You can get it on audible.com. In fact, if you use my vanity URL, link down below, audible.com has a library of over 180,000 audiobooks for your listening, entertainment, and enjoyment. My vanity URL, link down below, audible.com/Mr. Repzion. You will get a 30-day free trial for audible.com, and you can listen out and try out this book. They have a lot of different other selections you can choose from, but the reason I'm recommending this book in particular from Audible is because it lays a perfect foundation for raising your children, and this is a book that you can talk with your children, read through with your children on the qualities and character traits that a knight would have in terms of mercy, compassion, love, not lying, all these qualities that children need to be taught. And he does it in such an effective teaching manner that ultimately I can see this book becoming the next New York Times bestseller simply because of how it's designed to help children become a true knight of character. Check out my Audible link, audible.com/Mr. Repzion for a 30-day free trial.